I just want to be transparent with you all. Like, this week was not it for me. It was not. But knowing now that I'm aware of how my emotions dictated how I trade this week, now I can come in with a new mindset in coming next week and be ready to go. And so, with this being said, I want you guys to really dig deep into yourself and really find find that way to get yourself in a positive mindset. We are already in a positive environment, right? You are already surrounded by people that want to help you and want to see you succeed, right? This study group is amazing because you guys are coming off with different energies, so that's very important when you're trading. So again, I want you guys this weekend to reflect on yourself, reflect what you can do better. Read some audiobooks, read some actual books that can get you in the spirit for next week for trading. That's what I'm going to be doing, definitely, right? So that way when Sunday comes around, I have my all my charts marked up. I have a plan on what I'm going to do to attack the market next week, so I can gain everything that I've lost this week. All right. But with that being said, guys, I hope you took some value off that little, mindset spiel. But I want to dig in now into the the technical stuff about trading. Most of my trading stays the same. It does not change because I stick to my rules. I stick to my trading plan. All right. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and share my screen really quick. Let me know if you guys can see that.
Yes, sir.
Now, fair warning, I am in my car and I'm using my phone hotspot. So if it's a little bit laggy or it's taking too long to load, apologize in advance. But I really wanted to get on with you guys to talk about this. So the very first thing that you want to address when you're about to trade a session is identifying what session are you in. Are you in Asian? Are you in New York? Are you in London session? And you want to stick to the pairs. At least how I trade is I want to stick to the pairs that are most active in those sessions. So as of right now, we are in Asian session, a little bit early in Asian session. So I'm only going to be looking at Asian pairs. So that's gonna include currency pairs with AUD, NZD, JPY, and CHF. So I have a whole list here. Unfortunately, you would need to purchase the pro version for TradingView to be able to create these types of lists. But if you guys want to write these pairs down, feel free to do so. So that way you can be accustomed as to what pairs you should be looking at during the sessions. So I'm gonna give you guys a minute to go ahead and copy those or screenshot, however you want. All right, give you guys a couple seconds. Cool. So, what I like to do is I want to, go one by one in each pair and just mark them up a bit. I don't have a specific pair that I trade for Asian, at least not yet. GU is my favorite pair, and I usually trade that during New York because I'm not awake during London, so I'm not gonna be in a trade while I'm asleep, unless I see something in Asian that can kind of be a setup for London, but that's a whole different story. Um, but we're gonna go ahead and mark this up. AUD CAD, I'm gonna do completely fresh, trash everything. And I'm gonna start off by doing the TDA, a top-down analysis from a higher time frame, all the way down to my entry time frame, which would be the 15-minute or the 1 hour. All right, so let's start with the daily. And so here we are. So first thing I want to do is I want to identify what kind of market am I in. Am I bullish? Am I bearish? Or am I ranging? Drop in the chat if you know what kind of range, what kind of market are we in for AUD CAD. Are we bullish, bearish, or ranging? We are definitely bullish. Yes, we're definitely bullish. And so now I know my bias for AUD CAD is I'm going to be looking for buys only. I'm not going to be looking for sells or any of that nature. Now, this might change though when I go down time frames because there might be a setup for a sell, but that will be because that particular time frame is bearish or it's ranging in that particular time frame. But overall, I want to see buys. Okay, so Rico also has it right. It was bearish and then switched up to a bullish market. So now that I know I'm in a bullish market, I want to just go ahead and mark my zones, my major zones. So that's going to be my support, maybe down here. Down here, we'll include that wick. And then my high would be right up here. And then anything in between. So right there. And we have another one right here. Now, why I chose these zones is because we have touches here, 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 and here, right? 3 or more touches here. Then we have this, 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 right? We have all these touches here. Now I want to confirm my zones with bank levels, and that was the main purpose of my training today, is to show you guys how you can confirm your zones with bank levels so that way they are relevant. So if I take a horizontal ray, which you can find right here where your trend line is, take your horizontal ray. I started, so I have like a favorites toolbar right here with all the tools that I need, so I don't have to go back and forth on this menu. So first thing we could do is I could take it right here, right? And then this menu is going to pop up. You can also right click it so that way you can get to the settings. And you're going to have this, this pop up. Make sure you're on coordinates and then change it to either every 50 pips or a whole number. So this is 0, 0. And lo and behold, that is a bank level. Right? That's where my zone is at. I didn't even do my zone. I didn't even put the horizontal first. I just confirmed my zone with the horizontal line. And now I'm going to do that with every other zone that I marked up. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and go here. You can do every 25 pips as well, depending on the pair. So that's one right there. And we have this one over here. Confirm it. 250. Boom. Right. And then we can confirm the last one up here. Here we go. You guys see that? So mostly this pair is going to be every 25 pips as the bank level. This is also known as quarter theory as well, but almost the same thing. So let's put this back to 750. So now that my zones are confirmed with bank levels, now I can go down to the 4-hour and see if I can find any more zones. Oh, snap. So we have another one over here, just like that. See, there's just a bunch of touches here. Let's confirm that with a horizontal line. Get a whole number. Bam. And then we have another one right up here. Confirm that with another horizontal line. $50. There we go. All my zones are relevant and they are confirmed. Right. So now we're on the 4-hour, and we have price right up here in the zone. So we know that the market is bullish, so we're looking for buys, right? Now what we want to do is we want to wait for price to get to this zone, to this bank level, and see what it does and how it reacts to this level. Will it reject it, or will it break through? So there are 2 or 3 things that can happen when it comes to this zone. It can consolidate here. So it can go like this, right? Then shoot up, right? That's one thing that can happen. It can consolidate here and then shoot down. Actually, 4 things that can happen. Or it can come down and then straight up here. Or it can completely break through, retest, and then keep going down. That's 4 things that can happen, right? Now, 2 of those things is what our bias is gonna confirm. 2 of the things would be consolidation here and then a break up, because we're looking for buys, right? Or a straight down rejection and then go back up. So either way, we want price to come down to this area to confirm to us and see what it does here and confirm what it wants to do. Is it going to reject here? Is it going to consolidate? Is it going to break through? And then if it breaks through, then we know what the market wants to do. It wants to change trend, especially since we have a little head and shoulders action happening, right? Right shoulder hasn't really developed yet. And as long as the right shoulder doesn't go be above the head, this head and shoulders pattern is valid. And what does the head and shoulders give us? Anybody tell me, what does the head and shoulders reveal to us? Reverse signal, sells, yes. There we go. So we are already in an uptrend. And so if this head and shoulders is valid, then we already know we're taking sells all day, right? Because the trend changed. Unless this makes a higher high, that's when we will know that the trend hasn't changed and wants to keep going in an upwards motion. And then at that point, we want to find some more zones up in this area that happened before. So something like over here, or over here, right? Will be the next possible zones that this can go to. And in that case, we will react how the market does. And as you can see, all these horizontal lines are close to whole numbers too. So those are good bank levels. 500. Boom. Does anybody have any questions so far about what I've talked about? Type it down in the chat below. I could probably answer any questions that you may have. Yes. When I'm marking up my zones, I'm only concerned with the previous data when I'm finding stop losses or I'm finding targets. Just because the market hasn't come down here, so I'm not worried about this zone right now. The only time I'm going to be worried about this zone is if this breaks through, and that would be my TP2. So how do I know about the bank levels is the banks are always going to be placing orders at these whole numbers. They're never placing orders at like 94668. Like not that's not a whole number. Like that's how banks work. And so when you look at these whole numbers by using the horizontal line or even the horizontal ray, which I use the horizontal ray, you will see how they line up with rejections and bounces in the market, or valleys or mountaintops, however you want to call it. So when you look to the left and your zone in relation to current price isn't perfectly respected previously, is that a big deal? When you look to the left and your zone in relation to current price isn't perfectly respected. No, it's not like these whole numbers. I have them there because they need to like at least touch them, right? But like as you can see in this part right here, it kind of went above the bank level, right? But that's why we have zones, is because zones are like a range. And so you kind of want to be flexible with the market because you don't know when the market is going, what price the market's going to. These are just guides for you to use in order for you to confirm the zones that you mark up. How far outside of the bank level do you set your stop loss to avoid getting stopped out of a legitimate trade? Right above the highs. So if, for example, if let me delete this. So for example, if this were to come down here and then retest, obviously, I'm going to take a trade here, right? My stops are going to be right above this high because that was the previous high that it made before it starts coming down. So my stops for a short position would be up here, right up here, which that's a big stop loss, right? But we are on the 4-hour chart, so obviously it's going to be a little bit more risky when it comes to pips. But my take profit is going to be down here, so it's still almost a 1 to 2 trade. Are there specific trading sessions when banks and hedge funds trade the most or at the highest volumes? So I want you guys to understand that every time there's a session that opens, banks are trading in that session. So for Asian session, all the Asian banks are trading in this session. In New York session, all the banks in New York are trading. In London session, the banks in London are opening and they're trading. And so you're always going to see, that's why you're always going to see movements within these sessions at certain times, because those are the times that they're trading, that the banks are trading. Has to be a price action candle, take profit. Wait, sorry. Has to be a price action candle to take the trade once you are ready, correct? Yes. Has to be a price action candle. It can be any type of candlestick pattern. It can be a wick rejection. I would definitely follow the candlestick Bible and learn your candlesticks, because when these candlesticks form at certain zones, that's when it's very, very relevant and confirming. Yes. So numbers ending in like 0, 25, 75, and 0, 0. Yeah. Well, just 0, 0. 25, 7, 75. Yes. So remember, the last number in the price you ignore basically. You ignore the last digit. So as long this is 25, 50, 75, like you said, and it has a 0 at the end, then you're all good with the bank levels. Nikita, I don't understand your question. Is it $5, $10, $20, $50? I don't understand that.
No, I was answering. I was asking a question. It was I was thinking about the bank levels, but I
Mhm.
got an answer.
Okay, sounds good. Bank levels is like using a pivot indicator, right? Um, I'm not too familiar with a pivot indicator, but possibly. Most of the time, there are terms in Forex where they all mean the same. So like zones are basically the same as support and resistance, which is also the same thing as supply and demand, which is also the same thing as um, bank levels. You know what I mean? So it might even look the same. It might even be the same. Yeah, if they're very similar, then most likely they're the same thing. They just have different meanings, I guess. Anybody else have any other questions on bank levels, on zones, how to mark up your zones? All right, cool. So we are on the 4 hour, right? And so my TDA hasn't finished. And so I'm gonna go down to the 1 hour and see if I can find any more relevant like zones that I can probably dissect the market with. So here, here. Let's confirm that. 750. Boom. That's a cool level right there. Now, on the 1 hour, we see something different, right? We see kind of like a railroad candlestick pattern right here. Well, not a railroad, but a bearish engulfing right after a really bullish candle. And so we can kind of be more certain that this head and shoulders is going to be valid. As long as it doesn't come past here now, then we're in the clear, and we could probably take a sell early, so that we can catch the breakout of this zone that we're looking for, and then take a second entry when it retests. All right. Um, Now we go to a 15-minute. We have a little bit more detail. Now you can see that this also is looking like a head and shoulders, right? So we have a head and shoulders pattern forming, but the right shoulder is forming a head and shoulders. Does that make sense? So that's kind of even more like a confirmation as to where the market wants to go. And especially since it's making lower lows and lower highs on the 15-minute, it's giving us more of a bias that we might want to sell because the trend is about to change. And we want to get in at the top of a changing trend so that way we can just ride it all the way down to these bottom levels here. Right? But again, we won't know until price gives us that indication, right? And so if you guys don't see it, this is the head and shoulders that I'm looking at. As long the right shoulder doesn't come above here, above this price, this is a valid head and shoulders, and if it starts rejecting off this zone, that's even a better confirmation that we could take sell for AUD CAD. Just like that. First take profit here, and then we'll put our stops right above this high. So if it does want to come up more, we're out the trade and risking less pips. And that would be like a 20 pip stop, 18 pip stop. And our take profit, this will be our first one. This would be 30, 39, 40 basically pips. Then when we have the breakout, we test, we'll get in on another trade. And take, then we have positions up here. Then we have another position down here for more pips down here.
So Gwinnett County Public Schools considered this feedback and
Thank you, whoever muted that. If it rejects, how do you know when exactly to enter a trade? So usually when I see rejection, I'll see wicks to the upside, which I love. I like to see the wicks, and followed by some bearish candles happening. So it could be even a doji up here would be very significant as well. But these candlestick patterns I will look for, and you can kind of like, if you watch the market long enough, you'll see how these candles behave when they are forming. So if I see something like this happening, right, I see a bullish candle right after I see another bearish candle, almost equal to the bullish candle, and then followed by another bearish candle, I'm already in the trade and I'm taking it because I already know sellers are going to be in control. Yes, I wait for the candle to completely form. And that's what you want to do with any trade. You want to make sure the candle closes the pattern that you want to see. If you've been on Ryan's sessions, he does this a lot. He's like, I want a bullish engulfing, or I want a bearish engulfing candle in this area for me to like really hold this trade, or I need to see some kind of rejection, like a wick or something like that in this zone for me to take this trade. He preaches it a lot because he knows how these candlesticks work, and he needs them to close the way he wants them to in order for him to either take the trade or even hold the current trade that he's in. And so I adopt the same method. I want to wait for a candle closure to give me some bearish intention, so that way I can confirm that this market is going to go my way. I don't want to take a trade in the middle of a candle forming and then it goes completely opposite. It really depends on the candlestick pattern. If I see a rejection followed by a bearish engulfing, I would probably wait for the next candle to close. So if the current candle, it has already been 15 minutes that I've waited for that candle to give me a rejection, I'll wait another 15 minutes to make sure that that wick rejection is valid when it's like another bearish candle. For this example, same thing goes for like if you're looking for a buy. So yeah, that's my take on at least AUD CAD. I can give you guys maybe another example on another pair on how I do the bank levels and my TDA and how I confirm them. Just 1 second, guys. Give me a second. All right, cool. Let's look at. You guys have any other pairs? Oh, EG. Okay, we'll do that. So Euro GBP is not a pair I would look at, but I'll look at it anyway. So we on Euro GBP. Our group pairs are AU, EU, and UJ. Okay, cool. Do you want me to just go over those only, or do you mind me going over the ones that are being requested? Doesn't matter. Okay, cool. So I'll go over Euro GBP, which this would be a London session pair only, because it has the Euro and the GBP in it. So let's go down to the daily. And so anybody tell me what kind of market are we in? Are we ranging? Are we bullish or are we bearish? Yes, we are ranging. We're ranging on the daily. Ranging meaning it's bouncing off two zones and not breaking through any of them. And so let's confirm these zones now with the horizontal ray. Settings. 750. Yep, that works. And over here. C250. Awesome. So we got our two zones in the ranging market. Now we're going to go to the 4 hour. And we're going to find some more zones. We have one right over here. And that with a horizontal line. There you go. Right, almost on the money. 750. Then we have want to go as close to price as possible. We have another one over here. There we go, another one, 750. Right in money. There you go. That's one. Now let's go down to the 1 hour. And now we're really looking at current price, right? So I don't know if you guys can see this, but we have kind of like a double top forming right here. Just like so. No, I'll use whole numbers. It just so happens that my zones are looking at My zones are like lining up with the 750 and the 250 the most on this particular chart. All right. So now we have a zone over here, like so, and then we confirm that to 500. There we go. This down. So now we broken. I think we broken apart the market, this chart enough, right? You don't want to have too much going on. So now that we have this potential double top right here, typically we want to see it to drop, right? But if it breaks through this level, we need it for it to retest, so that way we can take another sell down here. I wouldn't take a sell now, because it's right above the zone, and it can easily just keep going, just like so. So we want to wait for a breakout, and then a retest of here, so that we can take the sell to our next levels, which will be right around here. You can even take one over here. So our sell will be up here. Our stops will be right above this right here, this high. As you can see, came down, retraced, and now we're looking for the impulsive move going down. So we want our stops right above there. Our first take profit down here, and our second take profit down here. And that's all there is, guys. Let me know if that made sense. Drop a 1 in the chat if that made sense. So if I'm seeing the setup under 1 hour, I would typically want to see the retest under 1 hour instead of the 15-minute. If I don't get a retest, there's no trade. Simple as that. I don't get in the trade if I don't see a retest. Now, this is gonna be like a little bonus for you guys, but whenever I see a breakout of a zone, I always use my fibs. My fibs will need to line up with the zone that it broke through. So for example, let's say it drops here. I'm gonna take my fib from the top of this all the way to when it stops. So if let's say it stops right here, where is my my fib lineup, my fib level? So I'm looking at either the 50, the 38, 61.8, the 70, or the 78.6. So at what level does my zone line up with? Anybody tell me? 61. Right in between the 61 and the 50. So that's where I want to see that retest, that rejection, or that candlestick pattern. That's where I want to see it. My fib just confirmed the retracement, then the retrace of the broken zone. That's 2 confirmations. My third confirmation will be the wick rejections or any type of candlestick pattern, and that's what will prompt me to take this trade automatically. Oh, my fourth confirmation, I have this M right here. So it's already confirmed that this M, this reversal M is, or double top is valid. So that's my fourth confirmation. So I have the double top, have the breakout, then I have the retest, then I have my fib level confirming my zone, then I will have, lastly, we'll have my rejection, and my, or candlestick pattern. Yes, so for the fibs, when you have a breakout of a zone, and that's why these zones for me is so important, because when I have breakouts of a zone, I immediately go to my fibs, immediately. So my fibs is going to start from the top of the impulsive move, right? In the market, there's impulsive moves and then there's corrective moves. So we're going to take it from the top of the impulsive move all the way to when it stops and starts retracing. And then the corrective move is the retracement to our either 50%, 38.2, 61.8, 70.50, or the 78.6. And this is where you want to see the candlestick patterns. And you want to take the next impulsive move just like this. You want to take that next one going down. Yeah, so a bearish engulfing, I would definitely take a trade if I see that right here. Yeah. Keanu knows about my battery analogy. So what I like to tell them is think of the fib as like a battery, right? It's 100%. It's 100% charged up here, and as it's going down or as it's going up, whichever way the market is going, is losing energy, right? And now, as it's losing energy, obviously it needs to charge up, right, for it to keep going. And so it'll start charging up all the way up to 50%, 38.2, 50%, 61.8, 70.5, and then it'll start its move again and uses more energy, right? And then after this impulsive move finishes, then that's when you want to take your fib again, place it right here again, because now it needs to charge up again, so it can keep going lower and lower and lower. So that's the battery analogy on the fibs. I like to use it mainly because it helps me remember why I use the fibs in the first place. Because the market doesn't go straight down or straight up. It needs to make these kind of waves or, corrective moves in order to keep going. A market cannot just go straight down. It's almost impossible. The banks can't let that happen, in other words. So it needs to have some kind of balance, and it needs to kind of retrace in order to come back down. That's almost a given in any type of market you're in. So, yeah. What are some other? I see some other pairs to look at. I remembered this was EG. What was another one? UJ. All right, let's look at UJ. Me and UJ don't have a perfect relationship, so I don't trade it at all. Like my first 2 years of trading, I've lost a lot of money on UJ. It does these crazy moves out of nowhere. It doesn't make any sense to me. And so I just said, all right, UJ is a pair I am never trading, right? But I can analyze it for you guys. Okay. So for UJ, let's delete it all and start fresh. So I trade mostly GBP USD. Asian session, I kind of just bounce around the pairs to see what I see for a setup, because my style of trading isn't for a particular pair. It's what I look for in a pair, if that makes sense. And that's how pretty much how I trade it is I will go by these zones. I will go by breakouts and retests and patterns and candlesticks and stuff like that. And I would use this strategy for any type of pair, because it's generic, right? I can use it in any type of market. I can use it for cryptos. I can use it for stocks. I can use it for forex, so on and so forth. Because my my particular way of trading is I wouldn't say accurate, but it's how the market moves, right? Market moves in waves, and market moves in impulses and in corrections and in breakouts and retests. Like you see this in every single pair, and that's why I trade it that way. UJ for some reason doesn't respect any of my zones, so that's why I don't trade. So for UJ, excuse me, what type of market are we in? Are we ranging bullish or are we bearish? Solidity, yes, we're ranging. Ranging, kinda. I would pretty much say it's ranging. So what we're gonna do is we're going to mark up our zones. We have one up there. We have this one over here. And then let's confirm that with some bank levels. 50 and over here. 0. There we go. So we have that. So now let's go to our 4-hour. I don't know why I have the 30-minute here. I don't even use it. There you go. So now we have this. UJ is floating in the middle of nowhere. Nothing to do. Sitting there. And so let's see if we can find some more zones. Can see kind of this one here. And let's confirm that because it is close to here. So I want it to be like, all right, we could do 500, I guess. Yep. There we go. So that's a good one. Then let's try this one. 108 flat. So good. We have 2 zones right here. Now price is in the middle of these 2 zones, right? It's kind of like doing its thing here. But what you can also see is kind of like a head and shoulders happening. So like this. But the way it's formed on UJ in a ranging market is not attractive. But that's still a possibility, right? Let's not knock it out. So let's go down to the 1 hour. We're going to look for some more zones in between these 2. Let me see, it's just, yeah. So we have maybe this one here. Horizontal ray here. Damn, right in the money too, 250. Might want to keep this like that. So now for UJ, you can kind of see every time it plays around in this area, it kind of just drops. But again, this is a perfect break and then a retest. So automatically, I want to say that this is going up to this level, at least. This would be the next level here. And that's the perfect level too. You can also see that this made a double bottom. Right here. So if I'm gonna trade UJ, it will most likely be a buy because it's retesting my zone right now. And this is a breakout of the zone. So I would take my fibs from right here, from this bottom all the way to the top. And as you can see, it came down and retested the 50, and now it's retesting 38.2. So if I could see some more bullish candlesticks or some kind of wick rejection to the downside followed by a bullish candlestick, then I'll be inclined to buy UJ if I was trading UJ. Again, I'm not never gonna change. I'm never gonna trade UJ, but that's just what I would do. Yep, right here. Do you guys see how I'm using my fibs now with breakouts and the retest, and making sure that the retest is actually to like a Fibonacci level? Type of one in the chat if you understand how my fibs are working. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So does anybody have any questions before I kind of head out? That way, I think I gave you guys enough sauce today to take with you to study for this weekend. I don't want to give you guys too much. Perfect. Awesome. Appreciate you guys for having me. Hope you guys again got some value off this and you can use this for your trading and study this for the weekend. Charity, you can go ahead and take it away.
Hey Josh, I really appreciate it. You stopping by and helping out the team. I'm really thankful so much for that. Charity had to take off, so she said thank you as well.
Awesome.
I gained a lot of knowledge today too, because I was really wondering about the retest on the hour, or if you were using like the 15-minute for like a retest. But
and I'm here, bro.
You are here. Okay.
I'm here, yeah. Josh, I just want to thank you so much, because those bank levels is something that I was really interested in, because I know a lot of times that when we don't know the institutional levels, we don't know where our zone should exactly be. Like, we have a general area, but sometimes that can help you get more profit if you know where the market is going.
Right, most definitely. I 100% agree with you. And once I found out that these zones that I create it lines up with a bank level, it was pretty much like confirmation for me that I'm doing my zones right.
Yeah, because I was thinking that too. I was like, because a lot of times, I sit and, I'm sure we all do it. We remark, and once you do it that first time, if you just look for that level, that bank level, you should be straight.
Hey Josh, I got a question for you. So that rejection over here, if you don't get a wick rejection, but you get a bullish engulfing, do you take the trade or do you wait for another price action candle?
If I were to get a bullish candle that goes above, that closes above this candle right here, I would take the trade.
Okay.
Because I already have, that would mean that this retest right here to the 50 was valid. And so right now it just wants to keep going right after that. Right. So I don't have to wait for a wick because it already did the retest and came right back up to wherever that bearish engulfing.
Correct.
As a matter of fact, if the next candle closes right above this bearish engulfing candle right here, most definitely I would take the trade.
Okay. I got that.
See, and I know sometimes they say that on the fibs, it can go down to the 61.8 because that means it's going to pop up even, I guess, stronger.
Yeah.
But how do we know when it's time to abort?
So yeah, that's definitely truth in that. Whenever there's a retest, the farther it goes of a retest, the bigger the move is going to be. Again, that's why I have like my zones and my bank levels there, because I know I have a general area of where the retest should be and where the retracement should be. And so if it comes past this zone right here, it's most likely just going to keep falling, because that would mean that this whole move, this whole breakout became a fake out.
Yeah, because that's like part of my issue is trying to figure out when did it actually break structure and turn around on me. You know, do I just sit here and hold it and hope that it's going to come back, or should I, get out, collect what money I got so far, and move on?
Yeah, so that's going to be significant for you to know, like, the difference between a breakout and a retest and then a fake out, because a fake out can look like it's a retest of the breakout, right? But if you know structure, you will know. If you know structure, you will know that if it passes a low, then it's just gonna make, lower lows and lower highs. So hopefully that made sense.
It would have to close, right? So if you had, price came in and closed above or like a higher high, then that's confirmed, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Again, the candle needs to close either above or below a high for it to keep going in that direction.
Correct.
So do you basically just monitor your trade on this 1 hour, or do you look at the lower time frames as well?
I look at the time frame where I'm looking for confirmation. So it just so happens that the confirmation I want to look for is on the 1 hour. So I would wait until I see confirmation on the 1 hour. The 1 hour provides me more of a stronger confirmation than a 15-minute would. Because the 15-minute, if you look at it, it already did the retest, right? But now we're starting to make lower lows and lower highs. Mm-hmm. But as opposed to the 1 hour, it just looks like a retest and possibly going to keep going.
Because it's in that little 38%, 23% area.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You guys, if you have questions, you can unmute yourselves real fast before Josh has to leave us.
I have a question. Josh, I'm trying to figure out, like, when I'm trying to exit, right? And then I've entered on, whatever time frame on the 5 or 15 minute. Am I looking for my exit on the 5 minute? Because sometimes I feel like it's so choppy, or it's not as valid, so that I'm always like finding myself second guessing myself. And so I'm trying to kind of struggle with, like, when exactly do I get out if I'm seeing something, and what time frame you use when you're exiting.
So the same thing as my confirmations, I will look for my targets and my stop losses on the same time frame I'm looking for confirmations. So for example, for this trade right here for UJ, if I see confirmation for a buy, then my target is up here because that's the next level on my 1 hour, right? But my stops would be probably below this right here, where my Fibonacci started. So it will look kind of like this. And I will hold the trade until it hits either my stops or my stop loss, because at any point at any point given time, it can come down, put me in drawdown. But as you can see here, in this level over here, there's like a little one over here. It could come down to here and then start shooting up. And so I would always put my stops below and then have my target the next zone that I see on that time frame. So if you entered your trade because of a 5-minute confirmation, then you want to exit your trade at a level or at a high or at a low, depending on the trade you're in, whether you're in a buy or sell, on that 5-minute chart.
Okay, and then one more question. So like say we're looking on the hourly chart, we see an entry on the 5-minute chart. If we see a pattern that's forming that's like a reversal pattern on that 5-minute chart, are we paying attention to that, or are we just gonna either just be like, okay, I set my TP and my stop loss, so just let it ride, or how do you handle that type of situation?
That's a tough question because I think it all boils down to again, the time frame that you're looking at for your confirmations. Because so if I'm here on the 5-minute and I see this happening, this kind of looks like, you know, it could be like an inverted head and shoulders, right? But on like the 1 hour, it just looks like this. Just looks like a breakout, then a retest, and it might come down. So again, I would need to see, I would not want it to pass down here. And in order for me to hold a trade. Once it comes down here, I already know off the bat that, okay, if it passes here, it's probably gonna keep shooting down. Now, if I'm in a buy or like a quick scalping opportunity, then my take profit will be right up here, and then my stop loss again will be up here. Because I know once it reaches here, there's a chance that the market can reverse and come back down, and then eventually go back up longer term. But again, I think it all boils down to like your confirmations, what time frame you're looking at for your confirmation, and you need to stick with your bias on that time frame.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, once again on the entries. Sorry, I have a hard time with the entries. So I don't know if you could talk a bit more about the entries again.
Yeah, for sure. Your entries are going to be, so if you're looking at like a breakout, then your entry will be on the retest of that breakout. And so your entry has to align with whatever confirmations you're looking at. So if you are only looking for double tops, if you're only looking for double bottoms, if you're only looking for head and shoulders, if you're looking for a particular candlestick pattern that you like, right? You have to make sure that your confirmations is all aligned at either at a zone that you drew up, either a breakout and the retest of that zone, or if you notice that a particular pair that you trade creates more patterns more often, and after that you'll see the effect of whatever that pattern makes. So for example, for UJ, I think UJ makes a lot of double bottoms and double tops. So that's the most frequently reversal pattern that I would see and what I would look for on UJ. And so I would take that and use that for my advantage. Hopefully that made sense on the entries.
Yes, it did.
Perfect. Anybody else have any other questions before I head out?
Yes, I do. When you do the bank levels, when you right click and have the horizontal box come up there, does that make a line to go all the way across, or I'm not sure.
Well, I will make the box first. I would make the zone first. So it was literally just a square. And you just kind of like drag it over. And then I would take my my horizontal ray and put it right, like kind of like in the middle of the box. So I can get as close to the bank level it is, and then I'll go to like the gear icon to change the coordinates. And then the horizontal line will move, and then if my zone isn't like on top of it, then I'll just move my zone a little bit on top of the zone, on top of the horizontal ray.
Okay, so you typed in 107, then 50.
Yep.
Okay, the 500 brother.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. So, okay, thank you.
Sounds good. Anybody
All
else?
right, last chance. Any more questions?
No, I just want to say thank you, Josh. Do you trade every day?
Pretty much for the most part.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Sure, no problem.
Well, Josh, I'd like to officially thank you for coming and helping us out on this Thrilling Thursday. We really appreciate it. The group was really excited that you were coming last Saturday, and we're happy that you made it this Thursday. We just really appreciate you giving up your time tonight. I really do appreciate it.
For sure, no problem. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Of course. And if you ever don't mind, we'll ask you back.
For sure. Just let me know.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it.
Right.
Guys, don't forget our study sessions are Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those sensational Saturdays are always to be determined. Last but not least, if you have over 5 months in the game, reach out to Jermaine in Telegram. We need some vets to help us out part-time. It's only 4 people on the team, and we need help, especially during those markups. Jermaine? All right. Well, if we don't have any words from our founder, guys.
Oh, sorry. I was wasn't paying attention. What did you say?
I was waiting to see if you had anything you wanted to drop.
No, I think we had a great session. I really thank him for coming out. And guys, let's try to get on these calls and try to get everybody on so we can learn something. And I hope everybody had got some value out of today's meeting, because I ain't gonna lie, I learned something today.
If you got some value, drop some 7s in the chat.
Because I was really concerned.
Value.
Yeah, for real. I was concerned about that retest. Because I was looking on both time frames, because the higher the time frame, obviously, the more confirmation you got. So guys, we lit. We lit. We on fire.
Josh, you blowing up in the chat, man. And the crazy thing is, they say it all the time, look at that higher time frame, and you try, but by the time you flip back to the 5 minute, because you're entering on the 5 minutes, like you may forget to run back